Meanwhile, Uganda has lost its only international airport that it had to China after it failed to repay its loan. Now, Uganda is the latest African nation to fall into China's debt trap and has had to give up one of its key national assets to China because it was not able to repay the installments of the loan. In 2015, China's Export-Import Bank had lent Uganda a sum of $207 million. The loan had a maturity period of about 20 years, including a 7-year grace period. But African media outlets have reported that the loan had repayment conditions, which allowed the Chinese lender to take possession of the Entebbe International Airport, the only international airport in Uganda. Now, last week, Uganda's finance minister apologized to the parliament for mishandling the multi-million-dollar loan. And according to the African media, a delegation of the Ugandan officials visited China earlier this year in an attempt to renegotiate the clauses of the loan agreement. But all of this in vain. The Entebbe International Airport is Uganda's largest commercial and military airport and is best known as the location for the dramatic rescue operations that were carried out by the Israeli Special Forces back in 1976, where about 100 people had been held hostage at the airport after their Air France flight was hijacked by the militant group of the PFLP and the Revolutionary Cells Organization.
What you see here is $10,000 on the table. You can take this money as a loan, but I will charge you a little bit of interest rate. Like most people, you take the money and you go buy a nice car. But in 10 years, it's time to pay me back. And because of interest rates, now you owe me $20,000 and not 10. You will say, I don't have money to give you. And if you don't, I take your car and a piece of your house. Damn. This is how debt works. And after 3 years of traveling the world, I noticed that this is exactly what China is doing. For example, take the small island nation of Sri Lanka. This developing country needs money and China has a lot of it. So Sri Lanka took billions of dollars in Chinese loans. It was easy money just there to be taken. And with that, they built skyscrapers, highways, airports, and shipping ports. The country grew and prospered. But few years later, this easy money came with interest rates, and Sri Lanka was so much in debt that it couldn't pay back China its money. And the only way out was to give China control of what they had built. In other words, Sri Lanka lost a piece of its home to China because of debt. This is the Chinese money trap.
Pupunta tayo dun sa sinasabi na debt trap diplomacy ng China, kung saan layunin ng China ngayon sa buong mundo ay palaganapin yung Belt and Road Initiative nito. Kung saan mga $1 trilyong ang balak nilang gastusin sa infrastructure projects sa ibang bansa.
Belt and Road Initiative. Ito yung malawakang plano ng China na alokin ng pautang ng iba't ibang bansa para sa mga infrastructure projects. Makikinabang ang mga maliliit na bansa and at the same time, makikinabang din ng China dahil nais nilang ibalik ang kanilang ancient trade routes na Maritime Silk Road at Economic Belt.
Maraming mga bansa na sumali dito sa Belt and Road Initiative ang nagsisisi na ngayon kasi nabaon sila sa utang. Napakalaki ng mga pinapautang ng China sa kanila, pero yung mga proyekto ay hindi naman laging productive. At ang nangyayari ay hindi nila nababayaran ng utang na ito. Kapag hindi nila nababayaran ay napupwersa sila na bayaran si China sa ibang pamamaraan.
Hindi bababa sa 21 proyekto naman ang nasa listahan ng National Economic Development Authority o NEDA na maaaring pondohan ng China. Aabot ang lahat ng proyektong ito ng mahigit 700 bilyong piso. Ang tawag dito, Official Development Assistance o sa madaling salita, utang. Sa ngayon, Japan ang pangunahing bansa na nagbibigay sa atin ng Official Development Assistance. Meron din tayong nakukuha mula sa World Bank, ADB or Asian Development Bank, Korea at France to name a few. Pero balik muna tayo sa China. Ang interest rate ng China sa pautang ay 2 hanggang 3%. At ang maturity period o panahon kung kailan dapat bayaran ng utang ay sa loob ng 20 taon. Ayon sa computation ng economist na si JC Punong-Bayan, pagdating ng maturation date, ang magiging kabuang utang natin sa China ay lolobo ng 913.17 billion pesos.
Oh my God! Wow!
One of the big-ticket investments, the Kaliwa Dam project, includes a series of dams, which have been projected as a solution to Manila's water woes. Why has the project not got off the ground yet?
Compliance with all of the safeguards that the Philippines has for all of these international development projects. Things like safeguards against corruption, requirements for social acceptability, requirements for minimum Philippine labor, things like that, as well as the financial requirements. So China has not been able to comply with all of these stringent requirements.
There are technical bureaucratic constraints on the Philippine side that have slowed down projects, but we know that Japanese in particular and other projects have moved ahead. So this is not something that's affecting all projects. The other is that China has taken quite a hard negotiating line on these projects, by which I mean it is holding out on negotiations on financing costs to make sure that these projects are commercially worthwhile for China to do.
Daraitan is a little piece of heaven at the heart of the nation's longest Sierra Madre mountain range. This is one of the most biodiverse areas of the Philippines. The beautiful Tinipak River, surrounded by lush forests and rock formations, is a main tourist attraction. With the construction of Kaliwan Dam, this area risks being submerged. The construction of the dam and its subsequent operation will require the relocation of over 1,000 families living here. It has, however, been stalled by protests from communities that could be potentially affected.
The Kaliwa Dam is located in the ancestral land, ancestral domain of the indigenous people. For thousands of years, they are living in the mountains. They depend their livelihood in the forests and the streams and the rivers of the mountains. All this will be eradicated by Kaliwa Dam. And what would happen to our indigenous people? Plenty of them.
I don't think it's a healthy relationship, this relationship between Duterte and China. It's a very toxic relationship that results in the victimization of the Filipino people.
May babala si Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio sa pautang ng China sa Pilipinas para sa pagpapatayo ng irigasyon sa Kalinga at Cagayan. Sakali raw na hindi tayo makabayad, pwedeng kamkami ng China ang ilang likas na yaman ng bansa gaya ng mga gas field sa Recto Bank. Ang tugon dyan ng ating gobyerno sa pagtutok ni Joseph Moro.
Noong Abril ng isang taon, lumagda ang Pilipinas sa kasunduan para sa Chico River Pump Irrigation Project na iuutang ng Pilipinas sa China sa halagang 3.6 bilyong piso na babayaran sa loob ng 20 taon. Layo ng proyekto na magtayo ng irigasyon para sa mga magsasaka sa Kalinga at Cagayan. Pero babala ngayon ni Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio dehado raw ang Pilipinas dito. Tinukoy ni Carpio ang probisyon sa loan agreement kung saan pwedeng kamkamin ng China ang mga pag-aari ng Pilipinas sa ilalim ng anumang arbitral ruling kung mabigo itong makapagbayad ng utang. Nakasaad kasi sa Article 8.1 ng loan agreement na isinusuko ng Pilipinas ang sovereign immunity sa mga pag-aari nito, kabilang ang patrimonial assets at mga assets na ginagamit para sa komersyo. Kasama sa patrimonial assets ay ang mga lugar na maraming langis at gas sa exclusive economic zone ng Pilipinas sa West Philippine Sea, kasama ang mayamang gas field sa Recto Bank o Reed Bank. Ang batas daw ng China ang magsasabi kung ano ang itinuturing nitong patrimonial assets. Nasa Northwest Palawan ang Recto Bank. Sa desisyon ng Arbitral Tribunal noong 2016, ang sabi ng korte nasa exclusive economic zone ng Pilipinas ito. Tansya ng Department of Energy may 165 milyong bariles ng langis o 10.5 trillion cubic meters na natural gas ang posibleng makuha sa Reed Bank. Nakasaad pa sa Article 8.5 ng loan agreement kung magkakaroon ng di pagkakaunawaan kaugnay ng pautang, maaari itong idaan sa arbitration pero China rin ang hahawak alinsunod sa mga alituntuning inilatag ng China. Ang arbitration gaganapin sa Beijing at anumang desisyon nito ay magiging pinal at susundin ng magkabilang panig.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!